Hello and welcome to our live coverage of Pep Guardiola's press conference ahead of Manchester City's Premier League clash with Bournemouth. The Blues find themselves 2 points and 3 places behind Andoni Iraola's side, heading into the weekend with the Cherries having made a flying start to the season. City were beaten at Aston Villa last weekend, but bounced back to winning ways in midweek when they came from behind to see off Swansea City in the Carabao Cup. The visit of Bournemouth offers a chance for Guardiola's side to reassert themselves towards the top of the table, and the City chief will give his verdict on Iraola's side, as well as provide an injury updates. Hopefully Pep will have some positive injury updates to bring us this afternoon. The City boss spoke about Rodri on Tuesday, saying Rodri still is not ready, he is getting better. Training with us. After what happened 2 times within the muscle, we'll see. No, I don't have an idea on when he will be available. Hopefully soon, but not yet. A Manchester City fan group wants to talk about 115 this weekend. As the wait for the verdict into the Premier League charges continues, MCFC fans' food bank support will reach that number of collections when they take donations at the men's and women's games. MCFC-FFS started in 2020, shortly before the pandemic hit, with the aim of helping the local community through football fans. While not affiliated with the club, the group stand outside the Etihad or the Joy Stadium on match days and use the support they get from Blues to provide vital support to the increasing number of people who need it. Crazy is the word that comes out of Rayan Cherkey's mouth when he's asked for a description of what Pep Guardiola is like. And when he immediately follows it up by calling himself crazy, it isn't hard to understand that Manchester City's summer signing is thrilled with his new environment. Cherkey made just his second start of the season in the 3-1 Carabao Cup win over Swansea, having been sidelined for 6 weeks with a thigh injury. It was frustrating for the Frenchman, who scored off the bench on his debut at Wolves, and in his absence Tijani Reinders and Phil Foden locked down the central midfield positions. What 2 Manchester City players did versus Swansea proved Pep Guardiola right, and offers Haaland's solution. Jeremy Doku and Omar Marmoush were among the goals, as Manchester City beat Swansea City in the Carabao Cup. For large parts of Wednesday night's Carabao Cup tie in Wales, Manchester City seemed to lean into the narrative that without Erling Haaland, they're a blunt attack. The Blues struggled to create clear-cut chances against Swansea, with their equaliser against the Championship club owing a fair amount to good fortune, given the hefty deflection that took Jeremy Doku's effort into the goal. Haaland will have watched on from afar, having not travelled as Pep Guardiola gave a few of his most worked players so far this season the night off. Haaland has 11 of City's 17 Premier League goals this term. The only other player to find the net more than once in the top flight for the Blues doesn't even play for the club. Maxime Esteve, who put through his own net twice at the Etihad when Burnley were beaten 5-1 in September, is probably as keen as anyone to see someone else grasp the goal-scoring mantle for City, given his name keeps cropping up amid the statistical scoring quirk. Perhaps Wednesday night might finally be the catalyst for 2 City players to help carry the goal-scoring burden. Doku netted the first, while Omar Marmoush, on his first start since an injury sustained playing for Egypt in early September, rifled in a second. On paper, the pair have a crucial part to play in this City attack, with Doku beginning to turn his potential into consistent performances, and Marmoush having showcased his goal-scoring ability during his first few months in Manchester last term. Guardiola had spoken about the pair in the lead-up to the Swansea tie with the City chief, keen to see those not named Haaland take some goal-scoring responsibility. In the dribbles, nobody is better than Doku. But in goals, Omar is better than Doku. To score goals, we need Doku, and to score goals, we also need Omar. And both of them have to defend, said Guardiola. So the City boss will have been pleased to see both on target in midweek. The prospect of pushing Marmoush alongside Haaland is also very much in the manager's thoughts, with Doku key to that potential strategy. The numbers of Erling are so important it's impressive, Guardiola said. He scored many of the goals we scored, but we need goals. Omar is important. He's back. Omar and Erling can play together, Guardiola added. We need a proper winger in the side, so there are players that can do that better, but we need the players close to Erling, the gaps between fullbacks and central defenders. And we need intensity. Omar is the best if we need the players close to the box. Omar is the best that we have alongside there, but we need more players in the pockets, more in smaller spaces, more control than the other one, and there are other ones that are better. So it depends on what we need in the team. Manchester City fans have been given 115 reasons to be proud this weekend. Manchester City fans will celebrate a milestone this weekend when the men's and women's team play at home in their respective games. A Manchester City fan group wants to talk about 115 this weekend. As the wait for the verdict into the Premier League charges continues, MCFC fans' food bank support will reach that number of collections when they take donations at the men's and women's games. MCFCFFS started in 2020, shortly before the pandemic hit, with the aim of helping the local community through football fans. While not affiliated with the club, the group stand outside the Etihad or the Joy Stadium on match days and use the support they get from Blues to provide vital support to the increasing number of people who need it. City supporters have become the biggest donors to Manchester Central Food Bank over the last 5 years, with over 12 tons of food donations and more than £30,000, accounting for tens of thousands of meals, being donated to the city's most vulnerable people. The need for food banks may not be a good sign, but the work that continues to go into them is good, and the volunteers want to champion City fans who have themselves been targeted over the club's financial allegations. As a three-man panel decides on the ethics of decisions made by the executives, there is only one way to view the generosity that has been shown on a regular basis from supporters over the past 5 years. Alex Timperley, MCFC FFS member and volunteer, says, "We hope that this weekend is one of our best. Every time you see 115 mentioned, it's always in a negative context. This weekend, we hope that City fans can be proud of our 115th food bank collection and the support we have provided collectively to the people in Manchester who need it most. It's not charity, it's solidarity. Every meal that goes to someone in need has been given by a Manchester City supporter who believes in them and their right to live with dignity. The community you find at the game can't be beaten, and we're so grateful for the generosity of City supporters. We can't wait to see as many Blues as possible at the women's and men's games this weekend. City women take on West Ham at noon on Saturday, before the men face Bournemouth on Sunday at 4:30 p.m. Collections are held outside the northwest turnstile of the Joy Stadium ahead of women's games, and at the junction on the end of Sir Howard Bernstein Way under the White Bridge opposite Asda before men's games. What came next after historic Manchester City debut for Pep Guardiola? Caden Braithwaite became the third youngest debutant in Manchester City history and the youngest for Pep Guardiola last season. Last season, Caden Braithwaite made history for Manchester City. Plucked from the under-18s into the first team after just one training sessions by Cheeky Begaristain, the left-back became the third youngest debutant in club history when he started against Watford in the Carabao Cup. It was a promising debut and came in a position where City were not blessed with specialists. As far as Braithwaite's involvement with the first team went though, there would be no more games last season. Not in the Carabao Cup, not in the FA Cup against lower league opposition, and not in any other competition. Pep Guardiola tends to use more senior stars in the League Cup when they need minutes. Just look at how Divine Mukasa was the only youngster taken to Swansea this week when so many were used at Huddersfield. And last season, more than any other, the manager decided it was not the place for untested talent. Braithwaite returned to the under-18s, and even this season the jump up to Ben Wilkinson's under-20s has not been immediate. It was not the plan to keep him in the under-18s, but with Stephen Mafuni and Kian Noble in front of him, the teenager has had to find game time back with Oliver Rice. There are still encouraging signs. For much of this season, Braithwaite has looked a cut above the level, both physically and technically. It was notable in the recent game with Liverpool how much control he commanded when he was on the ball, moving into midfield from centre-back, and how his teammates looked for him as much as opposition players looked to get far away from him. Withdrawn on the hour mark, with the expectation that he would play 90 minutes in the UEFA Youth League a few days later, Braithwaite's departure made City under-18s look weaker, and in his absence Liverpool scored a winner that condemned the young Blues to their first league defeat in over a year. His impact was almost bigger after he left. Playing with the under-18s is not the idea, but also with the players we have already in the EDS in the same position, we try to find the best way for him to make the best steps and to improve in his way of playing football and his character, said Rice. Being around the under-18s can give him taking responsibilities as a captain, can give him some good things also to be very important for the future. Probably in the future there will be more opportunities to play up, but this depends on everything from the first team and the EDS. So step by step, he's doing very well in terms of how he is in the dressing room, and also having good conversations with me in terms of our performances in the game. After the game, the lads can be happy to have him in the team. Having this calmness on the ball, the control a little bit, is always good to have a quality player like him in the team, and the character. Braithwaite is still chasing those opportunities every day and remains a promising talent in the academy. It is just that, as open as the first team door can seem for youngsters, getting through the door is far from a guarantee of staying there. With time on his side, all he can do is keep working in whichever team he plays in, waiting for the next chance to come along. The test for all academy players is that they don't know when their next opportunity is coming, but they have to be ready for it when it does. Braithwaite has learned over the last year that an evening in the spotlight is no guarantee of more time there. All he can do is keep doing everything asked of him and be ready when the next time to shine arrives. Erling Haaland reaction hides overdue challenge for Manchester City stars. Manchester City need to be more collective this season, but they also have to push each other. Erling Haaland may not have been